So he decided to stop by in a bar and take a cold drink just to calm his head and wait out the traffic. He placed an order for a cold bottle of drink, and when the waiter had served him, just when he was about to take a sip, once upon a time, in the city of Lagos, there was a man named Royce, very hardworking, diligent, and with a clean record. Royce just finished from work and had a very long and stressful day. Royce decided to go home early, unlike his usual self that stays back at the office to do some extra hours. He decided not today. On his way, he was so exhausted. He wasn't sure if he was going to make it home early, considering the fact that he was so dehydrated. So he decided to stop by in a bar and take a cold drink just to calm his head and wait out the traffic. He placed an order for a cold bottle of drink, and when the waiter had served him, just when he was about to take a sip, a group of military men stormed into the bar and started shouting, "Everybody, you're under arrest! Raise your hands up, stand up, step away from your table, put your hands on your head, stand in a straight line and march." It happened so fast, they were all directed out of the bar and marched them into their military van. When they got to the station, without asking questions, without writing statements, they had them remove their clothes and walked all of them into the cell. Royce kept shouting, "I'm innocent," wondering what was his crime, but no one gave him an answer. The next day, they were all marched to the court. There, the judge, without a statement or account of who they were, said, "I find you all guilty for drug trafficking, human trafficking, and involvement in prostitution business." Royce kept shouting, "I am innocent. I am innocent. I have no hand in any drug trafficking," even when he had told them where he worked and ID'd himself. They felt it was a cover-up. They didn't even give them a chance to contact any of their loved ones, not even their offices. Without investigation, they were all thrown into jail. While Royce was in jail, he pleaded with the officer in charge, "Please, can I just call my wife?" The officer hesitated, but after narrating his story to the officer, he added, "I am begging you, please don't let me die here because of a crime I know nothing about. Everything happened so fast that no one knows where I am, not even my wife, children, nor my colleagues. It's like I just disappeared." Roy said, "At least let me call my wife and tell her where I am." The officer had pity on him and gave him a phone to call his wife. Ada was a beautiful full-time housewife to Royce, and both of them had 3 lovely kids. Ada has been worried sick and has called everyone she knows, including her husband's office, to know if he was still at the office, yet no one gave her a positive reply. Till she got a phone call from an unknown number. Ada, without hesitation, told the nanny to watch the kids and immediately rushed down to the jailhouse to see her husband Royce. He narrated the whole incident to Ada, who kept crying and could not believe it. What a country we live in. All this happened within 24 hours. A man coming back from work this minute and the next minute ended up in jail. Ada asked him, "Are you guilty of the charges?" Royce replied, "Ada, we've been married for 7 years. You know me, I hardly keep friends and never kept late nights. Why would you even think of it? Ada was so confused. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know who to talk to. She didn't know how to start begging. It's like she was not even given a chance to even defend herself or her husband. Ada went to different lawyers, pleading with them to intercede on the case of her husband. But they all kept saying that the case has been closed and there's nothing they could do about it. Not anymore. Even when she pleaded with them, that they were not even given a chance to defend themselves. One of the lawyers advised her that the best thing to do is to go meet the judge that decided the case and plead with him. The only favor he could give to her was to tell her the name of the judge, his chambers, and how she could locate him. Ada went to look for the judge and pleaded with the judge to please have mercy on her husband. She presented the husband's ID and where he worked. The judge said, "I'm sorry, madam. I can't help you. I feel your husband was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's a pity he got mixed up in the whole investigation and crime, but there's nothing I can do about it now." Ada, having 3 children, didn't know how to raise the children all by herself. She kept calling and going from one relative to the other to see if they could help plead with the judge. If possible, pull a few strings, but no one was willing to help her. She kept repeating visits to the judge's house, pleading with him to please have mercy on her and her children, that she was a full-time housewife and have no source of income. Her husband was the provider for the entire family, and that he should please have mercy on her. The judge kept saying there's nothing he could do about it. Ada went to visit her husband in jail, narrating everything that she has been going through and how all his relatives has refused to help them. Royce was devastated and told his wife, maybe this is my fate, that she needs to get a job to be able to sustain herself and the children. The wife told him not to talk like that, and there must be a way out. The husband asked, "What do you intend to do?" She says she will not stop going to the judge's house until he changed his mind. Royce told her to be very careful so the judge will not get her arrested, and that she should please go get a job and please take care of herself and her children. Ada kept going to the judge's house, pleading with him day and night, but the judge said there was nothing he could do about it. On one of Ada's visits to the judge's house, the judge opened the door and saw Ada. "You again? Why won't you just give up?" Ada kept pleading as usual, but for a very funny reason, the judge noticed something different about Ada, who has been coming to beg him. He stared at her from head to toe and suddenly realized that she was actually a very beautiful woman. For the very first time, he asked her to come in, offered her a drink, but she declined. The judge insisted, and she took the drink. The judge said, "I have a proposal for you." She asked, "What is it?" The judge said, "I've given a thought to your requests, and I think I can help." Ada was excited, but the judge said, but on one condition. Ada was pleased, and that she would do anything. The judge said, "Anything?" Ada, without thinking, now very happy, "Yes, anything." Because the wife of the judge and his family was out of town, they went for vacation outside the country. He told Ada he wants her to sleep with him. Ada was shocked. She was like, I've never been with any other man except my husband. He's my first, and I vow to God that he will be my last. Then the judge said, in that case, I cannot help you. Ada went on her knees, begging the judge, please, have mercy on me. And the judge continued, for a few weeks now, you've been coming to my house, and I told you, I cannot help you. I kept repeating myself on that, not because I did not want to help you, but there is no way I could help you legally. The case has been closed, but on second thoughts, considering the country we live in, anything is possible. With the right price, and when you find yourself in the right position, and in my position, I can do certain things and get away with it, even when they are morally wrong. In this situation, you have to sleep with me before I can release your husband, or else he will be in jail for the next 20 years of his life. The choice is yours. She thought about it with tears in her eyes, and she kept quiet. Then the judge added the second part of the deal, which is the condition that you have to sleep with me for 40 times. Ada was confused. Do you mean for 40 nights? The judge said no. 40 times means if we make love now twice, it will remain 38 times. But if you want to pass the night and we make love 5 times in the night, minus it from 40, that would mean 35 more times. So the sooner you come around for us to complete a full 40 round, the faster your husband comes out of jail. Ada asked, why the number 40? The judge replied, that is how much I really want you. And I don't think one night or weekend will be enough. But I have looked at you. You're a very beautiful woman. I don't think I can get enough of you in just one night or weekend. So 40 times would mean you coming around more often. And the faster you do that, the faster your husband gets out of jail. The judge added, because you said you're a full-time housewife, for each time you come, I will give you money for you and your children to feed. So practically, I'm taking care of you and your children until you complete your round of 40. Then your husband comes home to you, and the 20 years in jail will be reversed. Ada was so devastated. She didn't know if to accept the offer. She held her hands to her face and cried uncontrollably. Ada knew it was a very tough one for her, either to let her husband rot in jail for 20 years, or to do this so the love of her life would come home to her and their lovely kids. But she made a vow to God at the altar, and giving a quick thought about everything, she stood up and ran out of the house. Then one day, while Royce was in jail, the jailer came to him and told him, you have a visitor. He was surprised because he was not expecting Ada till the end of the week. He was taken to the dressing room and asked to undress. They gave him the clothes which he was arrested with. He was confused. The jailer said, my friend, dress up. And he obeyed. They kept leading him out from one gate of the prison to the other until they got to the final gate, uncuffed him, turned around and shut the gate behind him, leaving him outside. By this time, he was standing outside the gates, confused. He didn't know what else to do. If to start running or to stand still. He looked at the security guard at the tower and he shouted, "What's going on?" And the security man shouted, "The only reason why you will be standing at that front of the gate and not behind it is that you're a free man. And you better get going before I change my mind and put a bullet through your brain as a trespasser." Royce turned around and hurriedly walked away. He hasn't walked for long when a cab pulled right behind him, and it was his wife. He was confused. "What's going on?" he said. Ada replied, "I will explain when we get home." When they got home, he served him a very hot plate of meal, his favorite. He was shocked how she was able to afford this. Ada said, "Eat first, then we talk." The wife being a faithful woman, an honest woman. Besides, that was why he married her in the first place. Royce has lived in the city for so long, but was not comfortable with women in the city because of their lifestyle. So he decided to go down to the village to find a decent wife. When he met his wife, Ada was very young and naive, and the best part that caught his attention was that she was a virgin. They got married and he brought her to the city. Since then, they have had 3 wonderful children, and this is their 7th year in marriage. The wife opened up and told him her encounters with the judge, how she pleaded with him, all to no avail. In one of her usual visits, the judge proposed that she sleeps with him. At first she declined, but at some point she was wondering how she could raise the children all by herself. She had no choice but to give in to the judge's offer. The husband was furious and he asked, "For how long has this been going on? And how many times did you sleep with the judge?" The wife said it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are out. 20 years imprisonment, wiped clean. No history of jail or convict on your record. You're a free man. Royce was still not satisfied and he said, "So you have used your body to bring me out of jail. You couldn't raise money or something." Ada said, "I could not afford to pay the judge, considering that I'm a full-time housewife and you are the sole provider of the family." Royce still refused to listen to the voice of reason, and he stormed out from the dining room and went straight to bed. In the morning, Ada woke up and saw the husband sitting over the bed, thinking long and hard. Ada said, "Good morning. I hope you slept well." Royce did not reply. The wife pleaded, telling him, "You know I've never been with any other man aside you. If he was not the judge, who knows how many men would have made me the same offer? Who knows who would have asked me to sleep with him so they can provide for our children? A whole lot of men will still ask for my body just to offer me a job. And as long as I am in that job, to raise what I can use for providing for the children, the employer would constantly ask me to sleep with him. I could have been doing that while providing for myself and the children, while you will rot away in jail for the next 20 years. By the time you are out, the children must have all grown up, lived all their lives without you, and probably won't be needing you anymore. 20 years from now, you will not be as strong as you are right now. You will not get the kind of job that you have now. You will probably be a liability, not just to yourself, but to me, your lovely wife, and children, who might pay little or no attention to you, because where were you all throughout their lives? I had to make the ultimate sacrifice. Instead of sleeping with different men, I chose to sleep with one man who matters. One man who will grant my husband the love of my life, the apple of my eyes, freedom of 20 years imprisonment. for a crime he knows nothing about. My king, my love, my heart, please forgive me. If it weren't for my actions, which to you might be wrong, even to myself, I know I was wrong, but I did it for the freedom of the man that means the entire world to me. Please forgive me, my king. Please forgive me, my love. I did it for you, me and the children. I made the sacrifice for all of us. Please forgive me. Roy stood up and on leaving the room said, I want a divorce, and he shut the door behind him. The wife in tears. After all her sacrifice, she turned and said, was I wrong to make an ultimate sacrifice for my family? Was I supposed to start sleeping around with different men who cannot provide for me and my children? At least, not in the lifestyle that I once enjoyed. Was it wrong that I made the sacrifice of sleeping with the judge to set my husband free? Please don't forget to drop your opinion in the comment section to tell me if I was right or wrong. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified every time we drop content like this. Like, share, and let your friends comment if I was wrong. Till I come your way next time, adios.